What's up? What's up? Be connect. How we doing, everybody? Trying not to let everything fall. Welcome in. 20 claps for bats. New angle. I'm standing up. Sitting down now. Yeah, I'm trying a new thing. I'm Mondays and Tuesdays. I feel like our stream sometimes drags because I'm tired and I'm sleepy and I've had lunch and I'm happy fat. And so I'm trying to stand and see if that changes things. So a new angle. We'll see. I'm also still sick, so that's fun. Still sick, still not feeling great, but I kind of feel like a late night host. The way I'm like, so anyway, you guys. Happy Tuesday, and we're just here on this fine night. The little sneak peek. I thought that was nice. I thought that was a nice touch. I didn't know what to put up here, so it can either be this, or we could always just go with the classic like background and just go with the "you're welcome." But then I feel like that flutters really bad. I feel like it fluttered less whenever it was on the black screen. I don't know if I'm crazy or losing my mind, but for some reason I feel like that. So I know you were being kind, but I was saying that I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle on it. What's up, Weesh? Also, 20 claps, 20 chats in the clap. What is this angle? It's a wonderful angle, Bleach. What do you mean, what is this angle? It's a delightful angle. I am standing. It's really nice. PewDiePie. Well, somebody's got to, he's going to start having baby time. He's got to take care of his new kid, so he's going to be busy. He's going to be sleepy. He's going to be tired. So I'm just stepping in. Yeah, I do feel very small. It's right here, and I feel very like, hey, what's up, you guys? I feel like, do you know those, there's like a TikTok trend that very, I don't even know, they'll wear like really baggy clothes, and they'll put a camera up super high, and then they'll like look up at it and just do like the child thing, and that's how I feel. I feel a little bit of it. When you look at the screen behind you, it really has election night in America. Oh, you're talking about this? I thought that was nice. That was a nice touch. So. Yeah. Never felt so tall in my life. You guys are so tall. Nobody's ever seen me from this angle is the reality, except for Zando. Zando and our bishop here in Western North Carolina, those are the only two people that have ever looked down on me. Physically. Did I move like everything? No. So, truth be told, this is a second camera, so you'll notice that the quality is a slight bit lower. Really, what's happening is, it's not even really the quality, it is the lens. It's a different lens. So, didn't really have to move anything, but I don't have, like, it's not adequate. It's not adequate. I ordered another bar. No, not the OG camera. No, that would be noticeably less. No, this is still a 4K camera. It's just a different lens. That one's a 1080. But I don't know if this is coming through in 4K, I should say. It is a higher quality camera. The lights are not where I like them. I've ordered another crossbar that'll go on the other side so that I can have it mounted instead of like just standing. Because I don't want to have to set it up every time. If I do this Mondays and Tuesdays, or if I do this every now and again, then I need like a better thing. And this shadow behind me is gonna absolutely drive me crazy. So I'm gonna need a brighter key light. This thing is not gonna do. We'll figure all that out. Take time. It'll take time. And this little board keeps shutting off, so I don't even know if it's gonna be worth the money that I spent on it. Because it needs to, I don't know why it's got such a short fuse. It's battery operated. It looks so much better lit up though. Bishop Carter is an int. No one can prove otherwise. It's true. He's so big. He's such a tall guy. Welcome in, everybody. What is definitely tricky is that my chat is behind me. Is definitely, that's definitely different. But what am I drinking? I've had some sweet tea today, and I currently have some water. I do have a new sticker. I need to put on another new sticker, but I do officially have Pixel and Pulpit stickers. So anticipate an announcement soon. Pixel and Pulpit is my side venture, my nerd ministry vlog, and I will send this out to people that subscribe for 1 month. That'll be my initial backers prize, if they're willing to send me their address, I guess. But I have another sticker. Let me go get it. I have another sticker. I need to put this somewhere on the water bottle. I need to find a good place for it. What is it? We just need to make the chat kiosk for Nate out of small screen. Hang it from the camera. Hey, look. I'm down. I'm down for whatever. Yeah, the little stage or something. Something like you guys redeem it and it just descends. I mean, technically, the camera is so high now that I could hide. And you guys wouldn't be able to see, because I could just do it over this little bottom bar. That's really funny. That might have to happen. So these are our new stickers. You guys are gonna love them. You ready for this? It's your boy. Let's see how this thing focuses. Looks like it doesn't. I think I've got facial recognition turned on. Yeah. Checky stickers, dude. Checky stickers, dude. Everybody hates him, so I had to get him. You love it. You love it. Hey, it's ads time. Who's getting ads right now? Sub, my friend. So now we got to find a place. We got to find a place for Checky to go. I'm thinking. Maybe just continue to line this circle, but then it's going to break the feng shui. I'm getting to the point now that I don't have much more room, and feng shui is going to have to be broken somewhere. There's going to have to be an overlap. I could do it underneath the Moviga sticker and just cover up a little bit more and well done. Much as I hate Checky, I love that sticker. Pop him on the flats behind the handle. I think they've got this weird little lip on them, and he might just fit. He's right there at it, though. He's right there at it. Yeah, he might be able to go. Oh no! Oh, I love promotional ads. Doge hype. Doge hype sounds like a Bitcoin, my dude. Y'all are in the wrong business. You're in the wrong business. That way you can punch him in the face when you get your drink. That's true. I see what you're saying now. In this section, that's really funny. Sure, why not? It's gonna be hard to see him. Feng shui for the water bottle? Yeah. You know what I mean. You can't have any overlapping. As soon as you overlap one, it becomes chaos. And all of a sudden, everything can be overlapped. But then you're in that weird, awkward phase whenever you're like, you don't have enough to overlap, and so there's only like one overlap. You gotta figure out where to overlap the next one. He's gonna be peekabooing. He's gonna be peekabooing. I'm worried he won't stick because it's like raised. There he is. Hey! Hey! Oh, look at me, I'm talking to you, I'm Checky! Yo, did you see that TMNT trailer? I saw that you guys shared it, but I haven't looked at it yet. Is it worth watching? Do we need to watch it right now? We need to watch it right this minute? We can watch it right this minute. Is it Mutant Mayhem teaser trailer? 2 minutes. Let's watch it. Let's see. Website. I'm also a guaranteed ticket sale for any TMNT flick. Let's go for it. All right, let's pause Spoofy. Everybody say bye, Spoofy. Bye, Spoofy. Oh, where's the sound? No sound. All right, let's watch it.
Kick it. Then I kick it.
Ooh, that's nice. I love the art style already, the aesthetic. That's really nice.
Lob it up.
Stay still. Stay still.
Now. Oh. Let's try that again, but with ninja stars.
Hey, why did we pick a fruit shaped exactly like my head?
Just stop talking. You're ruining my concentration.
You're fine. Chill. He's gonna die.
Wait, did you hear that? What was that? Well, nothing we can do. You guys want to grab pizza?
Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
What the heck are those things? They look like little Shreks to me.
Can I kick it? Can I kick it?
We prepared our whole lives for this.
Can I kick it?
Oh my, I'm gonna be sick.
Leo, what happened? Is Donnie bleeding?
It was an accident. Mikey, watch out!
So you were baby turtles who made contact with mystery goo.
Well, we prefer the term ooze, but yeah.
It's like more like it's just nicer.
It rolls off the tongue better, yeah.
Ooze.
It's nice, right? It's ooze.
Man, that's great. I know I just heard the casting because I thought it was so interesting that Jackie Chan was going to be Master Splinter. And now I want to go and see. Did I see him? And does he have a pompadour? Does he have a pompadour, dude? Does he have like a, you know what I'm talking about? Does he not have a pompadour? What is that hair? What is that hair? That's like, what's his name? It looks like, what's his name? Oh my goodness. I can't think of the singer. All right, yeah, we'll go back to the names. Giancarlo. Stop it. What's Giancarlo doing in this movie? Posty? Oh my goodness. That's a stacked cast. I'm here for it. Who was Post? Did we hear him in the trailer? I just can't get over Split.
Can I kick it?
What the heck?
Can I kick it?
What the heck?
What is that hair, dude? I can't get over the hair. Yes, it is. It's on the level of Into the Spider-Verse. That's exactly what I was going to say, H-Man. This, it feels super inspired. I really like the art. You can tell that the team behind this really cared. But it's Lionel Richie, dude. That was the name I couldn't think of. Did anybody say that in the chat? Lionel Richie is the name that I'm thinking of, that I think that's who it looks like. It's almost like a Lionel Richie-esque hairstyle. Oh my goodness, I'm here for it. I'm absolutely here for it. An afro mullet. All right, let's turn back on some Spoofy. Welcome back, Spoofy. I'm so curious, man. That looks like a great movie. It's just like a movie. It just felt like it was like just like a movie, you know? It was a movie that felt like a movie. I still want to know who Posty's going to be, though. Which is funny because, of course, Post Malone sang in Into the Spider-Verse, yeah? Sunflower, wasn't that his song? And I got you're my sunflower. You're my sunflower. Guys, I gotta get past this crud. It does feel a little dark, doesn't it? It's like once I step up, it colors. Yeah, it sounded just like it. I was singing the Yoko Ono version. Nobody liked my Harry Styles joke, man. Where are my Harry Styles people at? It's like a movie. Look, the film was just like a movie. No love. No love. Let's play some Jeopardy. Folks, we're way behind on Jeopardy. The questions for today are about Valentine's Day. We got 2 questions for Valentine's Day. The way we play Jeopardy here is it doesn't matter if you ask it in the form of a question. It's just the first person to answer it in the chat. Okay? First person that I see answered in the chat gets on the board, potentially. First category is it happened on Valentine's Day for $200. It happened on Valentine's Day for $200. On Valentine's Day 1962, this First Lady took viewers on a televised tour of the White House. It happened on Valentine's Day. On Valentine's Day 1962, this First Lady took viewers on a televised tour of the White House. It was indeed Jackie Kennedy. Chats in the clap for H-Man. Nailed it. H-Man, that bumps you up to 3,600 points. All right. All right, and now our last question of the day. It happened on Valentine's Day for $600. The answer. This beaver state eagerly entered the Union on Valentine's Day, 1859. This beaver state eagerly entered the Union on Valentine's Day, 1859. Bweesh in hot with Oregon. Oregon. Do you guys say Oregon or Oregon? Do we have any Oregon people in the chat? Bweesh, are you on the board? Did you just get on board? Holy moly, Bweesh. Welcome to the board, my dude. Arizona is also a Valentine's Day state? That's fascinating. I didn't know. I would have never known. Would have never known. I didn't even know Oregon was a state. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I knew. Okay. Leaderboard.
Like school, I guess
Leaderboard as it stands.
Gotchopon.
Oh, hello, Gotchopon. Let's see if the camera turns on. Nope, thank goodness, because I definitely would be seeing nothing right now. I did too know. Leaderboard as it currently stands, in third place is maybe 30 bats with 4K. All right, that's enough of that then, I think. Calm it down, huh? Calm it down. Third place, maybe 30 bats with 4K. Second place, Sneaky Pigs with 10K 800. And first place is Zando with 12K 800. Only 2,000 behind. Sneaky is just 2,000 behind, dethroning the Jeopardy King, the Jepper King. All right, so what do we got? We got a movie, a gachapon. You got it. Now that is a problem with the standing thing, is that you can't really see the gachapon. That's going to be an issue, but you know, it's whatever. We'll figure it out. No more gachapons. I always love this song. It makes me think of Persona 5. Don't know why we're not pulling thumbnails today, though. All right, Zando, yours is up first. You know what's so funny about that, H-Man, is that is the exact same thing that Outacents asked. No, that is from our Fall Guys tournament. But it does look a lot like Boji. I wonder if this thing just broke. Zando, you get to spin the sub wheel. Let's see if I can block my face. If I can convince it that this isn't a face. You don't see a face. Sub wheel. Sub wheel for Zando. Whoop. Yeah, 1 for 1. Standing desk is good. All right, H-Man. See if this thing falls again. Feels like beans. It's beans. And I don't feel good. So that's cruel. Whoop. Yes, we do need to spin for maybe 30 if you're still here. Clockwise, counterclockwise, how hard? H-Man, which hand? Which hand, right or left? It's the vomit bean. Put them in the trash? That's very generous. I can't do that to you, H-Man. I can't do that to you even if I am sick. That would be cruel. Don't rob these people of their beans. They love their beans. They love their beans. It's fine. I've been hacking literally all morning. Eat both. I've been hacking since last Wednesday, so you can pick right or left. You don't have to feel guilty. You don't have to feel guilty. Let's see. You said, oh, Helen is pumped for the beans, H-Man. Let Helen decide. Helen, right or left hand? First, I'm going to spin your dad's wheel. I think it was clockwise 5. Was it clockwise 5? Clockwise strength of 5. Right? Yeah. Helen says right hand. You got it. Oh, you guys can't see the wheel either. Yeah, standing desk is gonna have to have some work. Gonna have to have some work done. Just trust me that it landed on white. On the bright side, it's another got shop one. So maybe, just maybe, you'll get more beans. Counterclock dumb 40%. You got it. How does that work? How does what work? Ooh, it's a Chaos Emerald. Chaos Control. Man. Oh, wowzers. Oh, I have no idea. Yeah, it does not show up on the chat back there. The final Chaos Emerald. Zando, pick a game for me to try to speed run. Right? I haven't done yours yet, maybe. I'll do yours next. Clock counterclockwise 40%. Here we go. What is it? What even is the speedrun in Dark Souls 3? Will that take me like 17 streams? Another gachapon. Another gachapon. Maybe like 20 minutes. That's doable. That's definitely doable. That really is kind of like a caveat. Is that it needs to be containable to a single stream. I can't go on an escapade of speedrunning. It's beans! It's beans! Alright, Helen picked right. Helen picked right. Maybe 30 bats. You pick another. Right or left. Here we go. Vomit bean it is, babies. Maybe I ought to get something to eat. Do I need something to eat in case this is awful? You guys, I really might vomit because I am phlegm filled. Bottoms up. Yeah, that's a bad bean. You know, not the worst. Not the worst. Not that bad. Ugh. Okay. Maybe these beans, maybe they lightened up the flavor. This is a new box. Oh man. Okay. We're fine. We're fine. All right. This is the white bean. I don't remember what flavor it is. It's like the white with yellow splotches. We got another right. Here we go. For maybe 30. Cheers. Oh! It's a really weird sensation. Thank you, Ducks Makes Things. Thank you, Duck. You've come in a terrible time. You know what makes that worse? That wasn't even the bad flavor. I just happen to think that buttered popcorn beans are as gross as trash. Yuck. It was just buttered popcorn. What's up, Doc? Thank you for the raid. We appreciate you being here. Thanks for hopping in. Worst possible time, but that's fine. Ugh. Man, what? I mean, the buttered popcorn is supposed to be the good one. I didn't even get the bad one. It's just so oily. It's so oily. It's like drinking olive oil. Yeah. Drinking olive oil and butter at the same time. Hold your movie. I'm sorry, Xando. We'll remember. Don't let me forget when you get back. Oh, man. That is rough. That is just really rough. Blech. Disgusting. Disgusting. We do not like it. I wish this thing would stay on. I don't know why it won't stay on. Look at how much better it looks when it's on. Tell me that doesn't look so much better. I mean, it looks phenomenal. And then it turns off. I don't understand. What can I do? What can I do to keep it on? I feel like I'm missing chat. What are we doing? How are we doing? How are people? How are we feeling? How was your weekends? What did we do this weekend? Did you play games? Did anybody play games this weekend? Did you watch a movie? It's like a movie. Sick, I hear that. We had a wonderful birthday party. Nora turns 4 years old tomorrow, and I can't handle it. I can't believe it. 4 tomorrow, dude. She's old. She's old, and I'm old. And then, so Saturday night after the party, I helped some of my wife's friends move furniture downstairs. Real furniture. Like Thomasville furniture. Like nice, heavy furniture. And I'm hurting. I'm hurting bad. I don't like moving furniture. Harper turned 9 months. We were gifted an ear infection. Yeah, Quinn has had an ear infection pretty much since she turned 7 months old. I started Uncharted 4. Oh, do I have Christian Music Game set up? What is Christian Music Game? I have it there for a reason. It must be something. Oh, let's see. Christian Music Game. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. We can look at that. I can try it. I've never done it before. I came up with it on the fly one time and clearly forgot how it even worked. H-Man, I'm forever behind on ever trying Uncharted. Got a split. See y'all around. See you maybe 30. Thanks for being here and thanks for 20 months. Played Wo Long. Struggled with the boss tutorial for 2 hours. Is that the stream I hopped in on? It's Newsboys. The answer is Chris Tomlin. Well, so it'll be a like Christian song, and then I'll pick a top 100. A top 100 to make it happen there. Let's see. Tempted going to see the Jesus Revolution movie. I'll probably see it when it comes to streaming. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts about Calvary Chapel. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts. I've listened to a podcast. How long? Since High Point. I've probably listened to a podcast for 10 years called The Drunk Ex-Pastors. And it's a great podcast if you don't mind swearing and deconstruction and agnosticism. If you don't mind those things, then it's a great podcast of just two friends that have been talking for years and years. And they're both ex-pastors in the sense that they were both pastors in Calvary Chapel. And then they left, or really were ousted. One of them went on to become a Presbyterian pastor. The other became an agnostic. And then the Presbyterian pastor left the Presbyterian church to become a Catholic. And now he is still a sort of Catholic. And the other one, whose name is ironically Christian, is an agnostic. And I've known about Calvary Chapel for a long time. And I've only known about it from them. And I've known about it in a very negative light. So I don't know. It is weird that Kelsey Grammer's in it. I think that's very strange. But I mean, I'm sure it's fine. Saw Demon Slayer movie, Big Pog. It was actually filmed in Mobile, Alabama. Mobile, is it how do you say Mobile, Alabama? It's like Mobile. Oh boy, not from Alabama, so I don't know. You wanna do a DC Talk song? Okay, so the way this is gonna work, let's see if we made this work. Already it's taken too long. We gotta go find a top 100 ultimate guitar. Hopefully one that I know. Where is top 100? Where did that go? They used to have a top 100 button on Ultimate Guitar. What happened to that? I'm bringing it up here. I can't see. Man, where did top 100 go, dude? Okay, here's most popular of all time. I finally found it. All right, let's see. We'll just... Is it... I don't know how many are on this page. 50. Okay, Google. Random number between 1 and 50. I seem to be legendary. Welcome in, Netherlad, by the way. We're glad you're here. Cinco. Don't go Google it. Don't go look it up. All right, this will be tricky. All right, now I got to go find a Christian song. What Christian song do you guys want? What I saw DC Talk, I saw Newsboys, I saw Chris Tomlin. Jesus Freak, sure. Saw a man with a tap. Wiggle around like marmalade jelly. Jesus Saves is what it reads in a typical tattoo green. Sloppy wet kiss. It's specifically that version. All right, let's see if I can make this work. And hopefully next time we'll do this game faster. This is gonna be really tricky. Oh boy, and I can't get OBS pulled back up. Okay. Let's see if we can make this work, especially with a sore throat. Especially with a sore throat. I haven't tuned this thing in forever. Do we want David Crowder? Sure. I can get down with some David Crowder. I mean, it's just the lyrics. There we go. I don't know the John Mark McMillan one. I know Crowder. What's the name of that song, though? He is jealous for me. Love like a hurricane. I am a tree. When there is wind and mercy. And all of a sudden, I am on the world. What is that song called, dude? He loves us. He loves how he loves. How he loves. How he loves. You guys, I can't sing today. This is like the worst day to try this. But okay. Look, I'm here for it. I got nobody to impress. Okay. So the goal here, we're going to try out spoofies that I can get in my head. The goal here is for Duck to guess the song that I'm playing on the guitar to the lyrics of How He Loves by David Crowder. Is it a weird game? Yeah. Does it work? Not really. But we're here and we're doing it and we're having fun. You having fun? I'm having fun. Okay. Let's see if I can make this happen, okay? Can you guys hear the guitar? And he is jealous for me. That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Okay. And he is jealous for me. Love's like a hurricane. I am a tree. Bending beneath the weight of his wind and his mercy. When all of a sudden I'm aware of these afflictions eclipsed by glory. And I realize just how beautiful you are and how great your affections are for me. And oh, how he loves us. That's hard. Ah, it's so tough. It's not shallow. And oh, how he loves us. Oh, how he loves us. And oh, how he loves us. And he is jealous for me. Do you know it? Let's see. Love's like a hurricane, I am a tree, bending beneath this wind of mercy. When all of a sudden I am unaware. It is. That's fine. Perry gave it away. I think it's supposed to be duck, but that's fine because I lost the tune. It is indeed all of me. Oh boy. Because all of me loves all of you. That's tough, man. That's a nonsense game, and I love it. Probably don't do it whenever I have a cold again. That only made it that much worse. But that's fun. What a goofy game. What a goofy game. Is it a Tom Petty song? It was indeed not. Yeah. Yeah, that was painful. Do it when you have a gold again. Got it right. Exactly. Well, that was a fun game. I don't think that's worth 300 points. We gotta up the points. That's like a 3,000 point thing. Because that was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. I mean, that took what, like 15 minutes to get everything all together for that one? Yeah, that's a lot. 1K? You think that's not too low even still? Let's see. Let's see. What is uke time worth? Uke time is worth 3,000. Uke time is worth 3,000, so I think this is worth 3,000 as well. I'm gonna go with 3K. Well, I mean, I'm not having to rewrite the song, so I'll make it an even 2K. $3K is the same as Mirror Mural, exactly. Oh no, please! Sus title, dude. Sus title. Oh no. Not on the Checkpoint Church channel. It is what it is. Look, it happened. And that was totally random. Totally randomized. We RNG'd all that. Sus title, The Bweesh Story. Yep, that sounds about right. I definitely like standing up, and that was the only way I could have played the guitar. That was a whole lot easier than anything else could have been. Oh, man. I'm exhausted. But I'm not as exhausted as I would be if I were sitting down. It's working. It's working. I think this is a good plan. I think this works. This is a good, effective plan. Now, what I'm not quite sure about at this point is that I'm wanting to play Pokemon. Can't stay long because you have D&D. Ooh, what are you playing? Are you playing 5e? Are you playing like a particular expansion? Are you doing a particular story? Is it like homebrew? What you got going on, Netherlad? Tell us. I need to know. I need to know. I definitely got to get the chat over here. That's gonna have to move. We play 5e based off the world of Zelda? What? That's rad. That's super cool. So you're talking like races and cultures? Or are you literally like in Hyrule? Like, are there familiar characters or just familiar races like the Zora and stuff? That's real cool though. My character's a Sheikah Warlock Rogue that just fought and killed his patron, a Twilight Realm creature. Wow. So you've even got like expansions based off of particular game types. That's rad. Familiar characters, I'm peers with Impa. That's rad, man. That sounds so cool. I'm all about that. I love homebrewed stuff. Familiar creatures, that must mean that you got some horses. Somebody's got to ride a horse at some point. Huh? Our DM Articulate T is great. Well, go ahead and tell us the rest of the deets. Is it anywhere online, or is it just for your own personal listening? Is it a podcast? Do you have it put on YouTube? I'll let you spam that link if you want to. Okay. I think we're gonna go to the 2 o'clock mark. We'll take our break, and then when we get back from our break, we'll do some PokeMondays for the rest of the stream, man. Keep journeying through. I'm streaming in 20 minutes, and it's available on YouTube and SoundCloud. Oh, you're streaming it on your channel. So you guys stream it live, and then afterwards put it up on YouTube and SoundCloud. Rock on. Well, definitely drop us a line. Drop us a line. I'll check it out. That sounds cool. Pog you indeed. Pog you indeed. Let's see. What else do we have going on this weekend? I know I saw that we had Hyrule Chronicles. Oh, and a sub. Thanks for gifting the sub, Weesh. I'll go. Whoopsie dipsy.
Just small.
There it is. 111 episodes. That ain't no joke, homie. All right, you got a sub. You got a sub and a save. I'll give it a looky-loo. Now that I have the ability to listen to YouTube with my phone closed, it's amazing. There's a couple filler ones that we've been going strong. Rock on. They have the Atlas TTRPG at Target? For real? That's awesome. I wasn't expecting them to have that. Good for them. I mean, I guess it went so mega viral, you know? Last week was our 5th anniversary. That's awesome. Random, but that means that you guys have been around as long as Love Thy Nerd, because they just celebrated their 5-year anniversary. That's a fun fact out of nowhere that I only know because I literally just watched that video. I'm going to be playing Avatar Legends next week off stream. Yeah, I have it over there. I just don't have anybody to play with. Congrats to Love Thy Nerd, yeah. No, they aren't doing an actual play. I think they have done an actual play at one point, but I don't think it's very terribly long. We've talked about doing one at Checkpoint forever. I still would love to. Give me that movie. You got it, Xando. Xando, you missed quite a lot. You missed quite a moment. Pick UH, man, if we ever end up doing one. It's really all about time. All right, here we go, Xando. This is your movie game. So nobody else answer. Make sure that you let Make sure that you let Xando answer first. If he can't get it, then I'll open it up to the chat. It's 2 movie titles combined into one description. It's been lovely to hang out. We'll see you, another lad. Enjoy your actual play, and I'll be sure to check it out. Thanks for hanging out with us. 2 women feuding over a nerdy mortician ingest magic potions, turning them into living crash dummy corpses that totally get their heads yeeted off by a telephone pole in the name of Demon Lord Paimon. Okay, that's pretty easy if you got the first one. The second one's easy peasy. 2 women feuding over a nerdy mortician ingest magic potions, turning them into living crash dummy corpses that totally get their heads yeeted off by a telephone pole in the name of Demon Lord Paimon. She's a wild follow on TikTok, by the way. Such an interesting looking human being. And she always plays such weird characters, you know? I still feel like this is just too perfect. If I can get the microphone down a little bit lower. Just like, hello and welcome to my stream. It is correct. Death becomes hereditary. Very nice, Xando. Excellent work. I've definitely never seen Death Becomes Her, but clearly should I see that? Is that a good movie? 1992. I've never seen Death Becomes Her, but Hereditary was definitely the giveaway. I don't actually know anything about Death Becomes Her, so I'm gonna look it up. It's rare that I haven't even heard of a movie. You've never seen Hereditary? Man, that's a wild movie. That is a wild film. I mean, I don't know if I would. It's not that I wouldn't. It's not that I wouldn't recommend it. Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis. What is this movie? Like a movie. It's like a movie. This film is just like a. It's like a movie. 1992 black comedy, satirical black comedy. Robert Zemeckis produced it and directed it. Fascinating. How weird, dude. Oh, Bruce looks different, dude. I've never seen him not bald. Oh, how fascinating. Oh, you were talking about Hereditary? Yeah, Hereditary is very heavy. Isn't that Ari Aster? Hereditary Ari Aster. You haven't seen Die... That's a good point. But even in Die Hard, he's so sweaty. I don't pay attention to his hair because he's just so sweaty. You're right. I guess I haven't seen many movies with him with hair. It's definitely more that I've seen without hair than with hair. You're right. If I ever go bald, I can cover it up by being sweaty. Oh, these glasses are filthy. I gotta go to white. So sweaty, I can't take my eyes off. He's sweat. That old bald cure. He has hair in Sixth Sense. Sixth Sense, I definitely have seen once. And it was definitely not like a, it didn't stick with me. I know it's a very famous film, yeah, but like, it didn't stick with me. It's not one that's quite as important to me as it is to others. I feel the same way. There are other problematic movies that I feel that way about. Much better. Much better. But you are right. I guess I just don't think about him with hair. It's been so long since I've seen either one of those movies, really. I'm not one of the people that goes back to Die Hard every year either. I've seen Die Hard like a couple times. But whatever the movie is, that he's Mr. Incredible. What's the name of that movie? Glass? Glass was the sequel. What was the first one? It's M. Night. Nate, do you want to learn Japanese via an RPG Maker game? Unbreakable, thank you. Yes. Unbreakable is probably the Bruce Willis movie that I've seen the most. Either that or... Okay, so I gotta tell you guys a story. It's The Fifth Element is the one that I was thinking of. You may have noticed that every movie I've tried to recall so far, I've been unable to recall. Let me tell you why I'm so tired today. The answer is that Quinn has decided to go through 10-month sleep regression. And this ain't that sleep regression that just like, oh, she got up at 2 o'clock in the morning and we gave her a passy and she laid back down. No. This is the sleep regression where it was midnight and she woke up. Like she just woke up. Like it was like 6 a.m. and she was up and at 'em. And I held her from midnight to 1. She didn't sleep. Finally, I was like, I got to do something. I got to go to sleep. And so we normally do not let the baby in the bed. That's a rule for us. We don't do that. But it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So we're like, let's just lay her in between us. We'll tag team it. Didn't really tag team it. I was up with her from 1 until 4. And at 4 a.m., my wife takes her. I get an hour and a half of sleep. So I'm running on literally 90 minutes of sleep. I'm so tired. I'm so incredibly tired. It was an awful night. A horrific night. Ben never took a passy. It was a nice change of pace from Helen, who had one until she was almost 3. Yeah, we got the passy pretty quick with Nora. But Quinn did not take one for the first couple weeks and then randomly took one. So I'm real tired. I wish I could go to sleep by 4 p.m. I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do all evening. I'm busy. I'm a busy bee. I'm a busy bee all day. And that's part of the reason why I'm standing, is because if I were sitting down right now, I would not have it in me. I wouldn't be able to do it. Anyway, to answer your question, Zando, I don't think I do have the RPG Japanese learning game. That doesn't sound familiar. It's possible, but I don't think so. Isn't it already 4 p.m.? It feels like it. I remember those no to low sleep days. Thankfully, it passes like a kidney stone. Well, see, here's the thing: is that we've really been very fortunate. We had the first 2 to 3 months, like everybody does, and then for both of ours, it really ends. And we're incredibly fortunate. We're incredibly lucky. We really have great sleepers. But then nights like last night happened. Helen started to have real goofy teeth, and I insisted we take it away. Sarah wasn't as concerned as I was. That's what you always hear. I think the only reason that we really insisted on it is that my mother-in-law was a kindergarten teacher, and she had a lot of kids that were still coming to kindergarten with their passy, and they would have to leave it in the car door because the teachers wouldn't let them bring it in. And that was the clinginess can happen, and it's so hard to break them that we were might as well break it before she can even remember she had it. Something about the sentence doesn't make me want to experience either of those. You're talking about a kidney stone? Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you. My gallbladder was more than bad enough. More than bad enough. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to be lagging. I'm going to be slacking. I want this thing to stay on. I desperately want this thing to stay on. There's got to be... I need to read the instruction manual. Why would it not be able to just stay on, you know? Why would it not stay on for me? feel like it needs to. Trying to remember if there's anything else I was supposed to show you guys. Anything new happening? Anything new and noteworthy? Her birthday, so Nora's birthday party was this weekend, and we went to one of those like pottery painting places, and I did paint a piece of pottery that I'll bring on a stream once it's done. It's going to be a new mug for our streams, and I'm very excited about it. Very excited to show you guys what it looks like. Had a fun time with it. I knew I wanted something for checkpoint, but I was like, how checkpointy do I want it to be? So it's definitely purple, but that's the limits of its checkpointiness. I like standing. I'm enjoying the standing stream. Are you guys enjoying it? I feel like it's nice. I feel like I have more energy. I feel like I'm more engaged. I definitely want to figure something different out with the chat. The chat's got to change. Having it behind me is a bit much. I do think it looks cool. It looks cool. But I don't know how I feel about that. Discord was also just down for most of the day. And that was very frustrating. I had so much to do this morning, and most of it was on Discord, but I couldn't do any of it. Worked for you all morning, not for me. It was really weird. I went to the down detector, and Discord servers like never showed an issue. It was just down detector, and the numbers were like below 1,000, which is crazy. So it's super localized. It was like an area was out. Very different. And I just happened to be included in it. I just happened to have the good fortune to be included in such a thing. Weird. Very, very weird. But it definitely happened. It was definitely not working for me. And I tried browser. I tried everything. And then Twitter just rejected me. I still have no idea what that's about. I had to change my password for Twitter. I thought maybe it was like two-factor authentication stuff because I'm not paying for Twitter Blue. And I don't think I have the SMS one turned on. I think I have an Authy one. And so I was like, this is weird. Like, why is it kicking back? And it told me to like turn off my SMS one if I'm still logged in on my phone. And I was like, I don't think I am. Like I probably would not set up SMS unless I absolutely had to. I downloaded Authy so I could use it. Two-factor stuff's so annoying, but it's so good. It's so good, but it's so annoying. But that's the only thing I can think of is because, you know, Twitter just changed everything. And so I was like, maybe this is them officially pulling the plug. No telling. Did they officially paywall it? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I don't know if they're like starting to paywall it with like certain accounts or something, or if they're like starting in chunks, if they're chunking it out. No clue. They want to. They intend to. They just did for this guy at Nerd Pastor Nate. They targeted at Nerd Pastor Nate and they said, just this one. I want this guy. This guy needs to pay for Twitter Blue. And if he doesn't, so yeah. Prefers in-person worship. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. He was like, this isn't even real church. What even is a nerd pastor? Doesn't even count, dude. Doesn't even count. Listening to a great new podcast for those of you that are interested in the crypto world, especially in a point of cynicism towards it. There's a podcast called Crypto Island by PJ Voigt, and it's good. It's good stuff. Good coverage. It's not quite serial level of like hookiness, but it definitely tells the story. Had me so nervous for a sec there. Perry, I think you know me pretty well. I am not a crypto bro. I am indeed not a crypto bro. But it is really interesting to hear. I mean, he does a good, fair take. Like he allows he allows the truly impassioned crypto people room to speak, even if kind of calling out the errors. And I respect that. I respect that. Hannah loves Starbucks. Nathan also loves Starbucks. I am a fan of Starbucks. Hannah, welcome. We're glad you're here. Let us know your favorite Starbuck. What is your favorite Starbuck drink? I used to be a fan of the they did a coconut milk latte for a while. That was real good. They notoriously need a platform to talk more about crypto. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to translate that, Hannah. But it's very cool that you're here, and especially speaking a different language. Iced quad espresso in a venti cup with 4 pumps of vanilla and cream. Is that a lot of pumps? That feels like a lot of pumps. Sorry, your English sucks. Hey, that's all good. That's all good. We got lots of grace here. We got lots of grace here. Hello, how are you in Arabic according to Google? Well, I'm glad. I was just about to reverse search it just to make sure it wasn't like, do you want to buy followers? Oh, man. Good old Twitch chat, dude. I can't even trust people that are being kind and generous. It's less pumps. Usually 6 in a venti, only 2 shots for regular people. Gotcha. My favorite drink used to always be the sick tea, and that was the bomb. But then they changed. They changed to Tiavana. Well, I'm doing well, Hannah. I hope that you're doing well. I could be a little better. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I'm hoping that I'm on the other side of this thing. I think if it's Thursday and I'm still not any better, then I'm supposed to go back because they want to make sure that it's not something else and that I haven't picked up another bug. But at least as of last week, whenever I went to the doctor, there was nothing. But yeah. So are our captions on? Is it translating for Hannah? I'm good. Also just bored. Nothing to do here already. Oh yeah. Well, we're just about to take a quick break, and then whenever we get back, we're gonna play some Pokemon. So if you want to stick around and play some Pokemon White, I've never played it before, so I am just learning. And I've played Pokemon a lot, but I've never played Pokemon White. And so I'm 6 badges into the story. It should be fun. Should be fun. So we're gonna take a quick break just to stretch our legs. I hate that we're taking a break like as soon as you get here, Hannah. I'm sorry about that. But we will be back in 3 minutes. But we do this as a good practice of stretching our legs, doing a little self-care, taking a little time away from the screen, rub your eyes, take a break. What country am I from? I am from the United States. I'm from East Coast, USA. And we'll still be in the chat, so people can stay in the chat if they want to. And we'll be back in un momento. There will be some bits and shorts here in between. Yeah, we're in kind of a different, I guess we stream at a different time than a lot of folks in America typically. So it is a nice country. It is a nice country. Where are you from, Hannah? And then we'll hop off. Not hop off, we'll take a break. Never been to there before? There's a lot of there. There's a lot of there in America. That is the thing, is like all of America is so different. I feel like everywhere that I go is so drastically different. From Turkey. Rock on. Well, we're glad you're here from Turkey, and we'll be back here in just a moment. I'll throw some bits and highlights from our stream up here for just a second, and then I'll be back on in 3 minutes. Gonna take a little break. So hopefully you'll be able to stick around through the break, and I'll catch all of you on the other side. Friend or foe?
I just want to be done.
Friend or foe? Foe. Why are they always foes? Oh, perfect. It's not beans. It is a little slip of paper. What? What a way to end stream! What a way to end stream! Do you guys want to know what Zando just pulled? Zando, there's only one of these. Out of all of the things in the bucket, there's only one. It was total luck. My friend, you have just earned yourself the exclusive Discord role of Gotcha King. Wow! Chats in the clap for Zando, the Gotcha King. You officially have a new role, a title in our Discord of Gotcha King. Only one. Big stuff, the Gotcha King Zando. We'll implement your role here in the next little while, hopefully by tomorrow at the latest. And wow, what a way to end stream, yo! This is super exciting. Wow. So this would have been 2011. I was cast as Mr. Body in Clue. That was a lot of fun. It's a great show. The second time I had to die on stage in a show. Something about this face people just want to kill. People want to see this face die. I don't know what it is. Yeah, see, they're big old boys, huh? One hitters. We're just fine with that. Oh, not one hitters. Not one hitters. They're not, in fact, one hitters. They are sometimes two. But it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I just beat you in Fortnite, master of the mystic arts.
Victory is mine. Kayaba. Does make sense. But I did definitely forget. Oh my goodness! I am so far away from you! Stop targeting me. Off we go into the wild blue yonder. Whoa, 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 whoa! That is a shiny! That is a shiny alpha! Are you kidding me right now? Please let me save! Please let me save! I need to save right now! Are you kidding me? That is a shiny alpha Vulpix! Neo! Oh! What is happening? That is so lucky! That is so incredibly lucky! Okay, that's fine. Whoa! Alright. We got this. Okay. Whoa. Please don't die. Please don't die. Alright, welcome back. We got some Pocket Mans. Love it. Gotta love it. So many good games last year. It really was a great year. It was a great year to be a gamer. Great year to be a gamer last year. I looked up this thing. There's no way to keep this thing on for longer than the time allotted. But I did discover that it does have magnets on the back. And that's kind of cool. But that's about the only cool thing. Kind of a bummer. You know, I don't make the rules. I just follow them. We're going to play some Pocket Mans. And it should be a good time. It really was. I was trying to think about games that have come out this year that I've loved as much as last year's, and it really is just a Space for the Unbound so far. I mean, there have been some other like okay games. Fire Emblem was all right. A little loud. Space for the Unbound was so good. I agree. Hardcore agree. Still a little loud. Yep, Street Fighter 6. Excited for your Zangief. All right, we're gonna see how this works for us. Oh, cool. That works well. I think this will work out just fine. I'm literally playing on the DS right now. I'm just not gonna play on the screen down here. Anybody find a physical copy of Metroid Prime? I know Russ did. All right. See what we're rocking with here. Crazy Frog's doing pretty good. I think we were looking for a way out of here. And it looks like we finally found Plasma at least, so let's get after it. Still a little loud? Good to know. I can turn down more. Huh, pretty strong. But you're only strong because your trainers are controlling Pokemon. So, if you want to set Pokemon free, if that's what you want, you should start with your own. But taking people's Pokemon by force is not right. That's not real strength. Real strength is always winning and never losing. I turned it down another 3 dBs, so let me know. Hey, there you are. We found that thing we were looking for. We should head for the tower now. Get this! Team Plasma has obtained the power to change this world and end people's control over Pokemon. That's right. We must use force in order to right the wrongs of the world. Still loud? I'll drop it down another 3. We'll keep going. I'm using the right feed. Good call on the category. Boop. It's kind of just an obnoxious track, if I'm being honest. Now let's gather around our king, our Lord N. Those guys, I don't know what they found, but they go the extra mile to gain power and cause trouble. What a bothersome bunch. Check, I'm gonna stay here for a while. I want to think a little bit about what the champion asked me. What do I want to do with my power after I get strong? And why do I want to be strong in the first place? Alright, I guess I'm going after them then. Winter? No, still on. Well, hello, Check. How is Swoobat? This Swoobat has really taken a shine to you. The Pokedex is important, but time spent having fun is also important. Say, I just had a thought. Have you heard of Dragon Spiral Tower? No. I'm not surprised you haven't heard of it. Okay, give this story a listen. Dragon Spiral Tower is said to be the Unova region's oldest building. Stories say it's the place where legendary Pokemon came to life, or where they remain in deep slumber. I know it's just Icarus City, but that's all I know about it. Well, that's all anyone knows, because no one has ever been inside. My daughter has wanted to investigate that tower for a long time. What? There's something I don't know. That kind of feeling is pure adventure. And I'm not too old for some adventures. Anyway, I go to have a look at Dragon Spiral Tower. Catch you later. See ya. Oh, repels effect. Good. What now? That was grass? Did standing water? Daniel Craig's Southern accent impression. Well, I turned it down again. It's down negative 18 at this point. I'll just let me know. Alright, Hurts. Oh, he's not ground type, is he? He might be ground type. It was getting a bit much with the cave music before he turned it down. Yeah, that music was a bit much. Yep, did it not affect? Oh, that's really not great. Do I have a grass type? No. Alright, well, back to Adam Moses, I suppose. I think that was actually Team Plasma's. I think that was Team Plasma's theme. Still trying to decide what game to play this Thursday, you guys. Not sure. I could kind of go with anything. There's so many games I want to play. But I probably just need to just let it be. Let it be. Metroid, the new Metroid, does that come out on Thursday? Or when does that? I thought it comes out on the 10th or something. Is it Thursday? I'd like to play something I've never played before, though, you know? That is Thursday. You have that huge backlog and speedrun list to work on. Yeah, the bonus streams are you guys got to vote on them on Tuesdays. Play Wo Long. And Maybe. A part of me feels like that should be like a checkathon reward for you guys. Because it definitely looks like not my kind of game. It looks just like a Dark Souls and Elden Ring. No joke. This is how susceptible I am to that triple click podcast. Because I'm already... This is a wild random encounter that just took down 2 of my Pokemon, by the way. That was a random encounter that just took down 2 of my team. I gotta work on this squad, dude. They're so squishy. That was a single random encounter. Now, granted, I'd been going through the cave for quite a while, but that's still great. My thing is that I've kind of been enjoying just RNGing a game. I've also thought about bumping Disco Elysium up to the top of the list. Ores that I adore. Oh, this is where you should laugh. Anyway, it would pay you well for rare ores. And not just ores, stones, gems, shards, anything mineral. I love it all. You have an adorable ore that shakes my core? No. No, go away. Who are you? I just wanted to say hello. Everyone has a different reason for their trips, and the same can be said for gift giving. I'll give you this to commemorate this encounter with you. Oh, wow. Yeah, you told me a little too late. You really let me know just a little too late. Am I supposed to be going down here? I feel like I'm jumping the gun. Feel like I'm jumping the gun. Oh, they're just square dancing. Legendary Pokemon Reshiram. This is the first time we've heard about Reshiram. Shared its wisdom with the hero and defied foes with columns of fire. The hero and that Pokemon were as close as a parent and child. People were filled with awe and looked up to them, and that it is said to be the beginning of what became ancient Unova. Neat. If we live a monotonous life, do we get used to it and stop thinking about changing it? Ooh. Is this gonna be an ice battle? Is this the gym? Ice gym. And I have Ronan and I have Chuck, but they're both pretty underleveled. Well, not Chuck. I don't know why this game is trying to be philosophical, but it really drives the glad I missed out notion home. Yeah, it's pretty heavy. And that's why people love it, right? Is that it is definitely one of the heavier Pokemon stories. Chuck is my favorite. A smidgen? A smidgen, sir. I will have you know that Chuck is my closest friend. No, I don't even care. I don't even want to know how friendly they are. You can take your friendliness right onto the bank. Oh, man. I mean, I guess we just try. I feel like I'm probably pretty underleveled. I mean, Ronan is literally level 28, you know? I don't think he's got it in him. I wonder if there's anybody that Ronan can take down. Probably not. Let's go to map. Guess let's go explore. I mean, it definitely wanted me to go on that dragon spiral, whatever. So maybe I need to go to dragon spiral first. Yeah, something it wants me to do before I take on the gym. I mean, if the wild Pokemon are level 32s, odds are the gym leader's gonna be pretty tough. Chuck will probably be able to handle it, but Ronan would be no help at this point. I will say this about Pokemon Black and White so far is that it has made me appreciate the new games even more. I think Pokemon games have actually made steps forward. Contrary to popular belief, I think people love to hate on them, but they are so much more engaging. They're so much faster. The menus are so much better. The UI, it's capable of being so much quicker, more responsive, more logical. They took so many of the idiosyncrasies of the old games and they've just improved upon them. Like I think about the mass release option of Arceus that apparently they hard patched in to Violet Scarlet. I haven't tried it yet, but like they're just better games. They just are. They've just improved. Somehow the tutorials didn't age as well, but I think they did. I know you don't like the tutorials, but I think they integrated them with the story. Whereas it used to just be, hey, I'm a little man and I haven't had my coffee yet, and I'm gonna show you how to throw a Pokeball. And that was boring. I hated that guy. I always just spam aid through his thing. You know how many times? No, they're integrated in the story. They're 100% integrated. I think they've improved. Is this bug type? Please tell me it's bug type. I thought it was. Nailed it. Although I guess I kind of wanted. Probably should have caught him. Is it Shelmet? Super rare or something? I don't have any love for Best Cavalier. But your complaint is duly noted, Weesh. It's duly noted. I feel like the Hey You Matter looks a little bit like Hey You Mother. That might be inappropriate. I think I might need to change it because I mean just the slightest misreading of it and I think I'm really not happy with them. Hey, guess what? Your mother. Oh man, I'm throwing throwing some kind of northeastern assault at them. Xando, did you know that you missed out on a question about the Great Lakes? Jeopardy? I think it was last Thursday. You hopped out right during Jeopardy, and the question as soon as you hopped out was about Lake Michigan. Which again, I'm assuming is a Great Lake. I don't know much about the Great Lakes, but surely the 1 p.m. timeline doesn't always work out for me. I'm so tired of these Palpitoads, dude. Was it last Tuesday then? Maybe it was last Tuesday. I said Thursday, but maybe it was Tuesday. Like the 4 a.m. Thursday stream. Not that late. 6 a.m. Way late. Let me assure you, as somebody that woke up at both 4 a.m. and 6 a.m. today, very different times. Extremely different times. Cool, glad I can go up here. That was helpful for me. I'm glad that I learned that I can go up there. That's a thing I wanted to waste my time on. I was hoping I could waste my time going up that random hill. I was like, you know what? This game is pretty fun, but if only I could waste my time going up a random hill, then I'd really be living. What's up with this background? Who painted this background? This is like in a MoMA. This looks like a MoMA background. What, you don't like my sleepy sarcasm, please? I can't help it. I'm tired. I'm here. Here, I'm surviving. I am enjoying the setup though. That is very nice. I think this would be a whole lot lower energy if I were seeing it. I think I probably need to switch them out, huh? Especially if I want Ronan to get some levels. I'm gonna switch out the experience share, swap it around. I think, no joke, what I actually really do like about the new Pokemon games versus the old is the exploration. I think they've excelled at making them just altogether more explored. That's a nice soundtrack. What just happened is exactly what I mean. The UI. The UI, it is drastically improved. Drastic. Why did I have to click through that menu so slowly? Okay. I'm gonna just try and take this person down with Chuck. Show us what you got. Show me what you got. Ooh. Is Xando still here? I don't know. Xando, are you still here? Remember how you said you didn't need another podcast to listen to? That Super Okay podcast I shared the other week has a Doki Doki Literature Club episode coming up. Xando, did you miss that I, like, literally, as soon as I said that, I was, like, not going to listen to another episode, and then I did, and it was about dating sims? Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm on, let's see how many episodes I've listened to. Let me do some math. Hang on. I've listened to 37 episodes. I don't have a problem. You guys want to know how many podcasts I listen to right now? Let's see. Let's look at an update. Let's see how many podcasts I have all together. All together now, 238. 238 podcasts I'm actively subscribed to. Too many pods, too many pods. 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 I'm very excited about a Doki Doki one, though. I know that, so now, I mean, it took me a minute to put it all together once I heard him called 20-Sided Ninja. I remember, I think you either had us raid out to 20-Sided Ninja, or I was in your chat whenever we raided 20-Sided Ninja. Something like that. That's not Nerd Pasternet, is it? Is that Nerd Pasternet? I think it might be. But I remember raiding him, and I think he might have been playing Doki Doki. Yeah, Nerd Pasternet. That was the one. So yeah, I absolutely. As soon as I put two and two together, I still follow, and I've seen some of the games that he's played, and typically they're talked about pretty frequently after he's done playing them. Which, I hear that. You heard with Bird. I listen to too many podcasts, folks. Too many podcasts. But I love them. I love them. They're so good. Dale's wife is my wife's best friend. He's a super good dude. Well, there you go. The more you know. Piecing it all together. I'm piecing together the web of friendship of Xando. It is definitely more for explicit than the other podcasts that you've been featured on. But it's good. For sure. Gonna lurk a little. Seabweesh. Thanks for your lurk. But it's almost more vernacular, you know? There's like a difference between profanity and vernacular speak. There are some people that are profane, and there are some people that are like, no, this is just in my lexicon. This is just my everyday lexicon. This is how I talk. Do you edit all of their podcasts or just a couple? You hop on there now. Have for the past 6 months or so. Thank you. Do you guys say peccaberries or pechaberries? Standing is definitely wearing out my legs. Fortunately, I do remember choir days. And I do remember, you know what? I usually say a berry. Who cares? It's just a berry. I got a berry. Who cares? I pointed the wrong side. Your mother. Who cares, your mother? What's up, Splash? How we doing? You catching us between classes? What's good? Hope that the day's treating you all right. It's kind of gloomy and glum outside. Or maybe it's warm by now. Your mother cares. Your mother loves berry. She likes the raspberries. It's fun seeing the two Z's back to back. Your mother cares. It's pretty hot out, and somebody tried to burn down the school today like a arsonist? That's insane, Splash. Are you okay? Is everybody okay? I assume they were unsuccessful. Was it like a for the laws? Or is there like a lockdown issue? Somebody, definitely not me, tried to burn down the school. It wasn't me, though. Remember, if anybody asks, I didn't do it. Everyone is fine. The official story is someone in the library had a lighter and tried to set something on fire. It was not me. Promise. I believe you, Splash. This time. Man, that's like the worst place possible. That's like a, what is it? What's the name of that book? Fahrenheit 9/11? Fahrenheit? burn force. You would need to splash some water on that burn. Palpito was with that. We gotta figure out some way to take down Palpitoad. I might need to train up a grass type or teach one of my existing grass type move, because we are defenseless. My ankles are feeling it. Good. New season of Marvel Snap starts tonight. I'm excited for the new cards. Days of Future Past. Oh, that's very cool. Maractus? Let's try Ronan. Let's see if Ronan can... Well, yeah, let's try Ronan. He's going to be pretty high level. Let's try the noses. Hang on, I'll be right back, you guys. I'm going to send you guys to a quick intermission. Shouldn't take long. Friend or foe? Friend or foe? Foe. Why are they always foes? Oh, perfect. It's not beans. It is a little slip of paper. What? What a way to end stream! What a way to end stream! Do you guys want to know what Zando just pulled? Zando, there's only one of these. Out of all of the things in the bucket, there's only one. It was total luck. My friend, you have just earned yourself the exclusive Discord role of Gotcha King. Wow! Chats in the clap for Zando, the Gotcha King. You officially have a new role, a title in our Discord of Gotcha King. Only one. Big stuff, the Gotcha King Zando. We'll implement your role here in the next little while, hopefully by tomorrow at the latest. And wow, what a way to end stream, yo! This is super exciting. Wow. So this would have been 2011. I was cast as Mr. Body in Clue. That was a lot of fun. It's a great show. The second time I had to die on stage in a show. Something about this face people just want to kill. People want to see this face die. I don't know what it is. Yeah, see, they're big old boys, huh? One hitters. We're just fine with that. Oh, not one hitters. 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 They're not, in fact, one hitters. They are sometimes two. But it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that ring.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. I just beat you in Fortnite, master of the mystic.
Sorry about that. I am back. Just had to make a quick phone call. Take a quick phone call there. But we are back. All right. Back into it. Let's see. Days of Future Past themed, a whole bunch of Sentinel variants and Master Mold. That's very cool. I wish I could get back into it. A part of me wishes I could, and a part of me is kind of glad that I'm not, because it sure did take up a whole lot of time when it came out. It was one of those that I couldn't stop playing, you know? It was a lot of investment. I do indeed have a Seinfeld stinger, yes. And whenever I go to break. I have, I think I downloaded like 47 of them. And it just pulls randomly from the folder. So sometimes they're a little longer, sometimes a little shorter. Did I miss? I was about to say, I would have thought it would have one-shotted. Needs to be more pronounced. I must have missed them. So the thing is that it's running through my computer audio. And I'm turned down crazy low because Pokemon is so loud. I need to have it running through its own audio mixer. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh man. Ranger's always giving me berries, huh? Nice. That's a good hit. Just a bunch of Pokeball? Ah, Stunfisk. Is this where Stunfisk came from? You guys cannot tell me that background art is not MoMA. That is like straight up not impressionist. Is it impressionist? I don't know my art styles, you guys. I don't know art styles. But those, it just looks like brush strokes. Ooh, is it electric type? With a name like Stun, it just might be. Got a lurk. Yeah, go edit Zando. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. I really don't know what types to use. Not that. Ground type. Man, I'm sorry. We'll try Crazy Frog. I've got to teach Crazy Frog another move. I keep forgetting that Aqua Ring is not what I think it is. Let's try that. Nice. Sure enough. Ground type. What's up, boys? Checking for a mod? Why? Why are you checking for a mod? Where mod? Not around. Actually, I think it's exclusively mods right now, except for Sneaky Lurk and Kishu down there. We'll just, when in doubt, fly it out. That way you know you won't get hurt. Lurking and working. Y'all are good. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. Ain't nothing but a fun. I am ready to get through some Pokemon White, though. Oh, Goofy. Goofy went back the exact same way I was just running away from. Just so much damage. Excuse me. We're gonna work into. That's how we get it done. We almost need to start turning our some of our streams into Pomodoro streams. Work with me streams. I know that's what Asia does. Got my lady the NES Classic Mini for her birthday. She loves it. It's my recommendation. It's a cool console. I got the NES, the SNES, and the Genesis, and the PS1. I got all the classics. Still counting on any others. I would love to see some more. I just like them for the little tiny consoles. Yeah, the SNES Classic is great. I'll think about Metroid Fusion Bleach for Thursday. Because the truth of the matter is like, yes, I have technically played it, but like, it was so long ago, no shot did I finish it first time. And it's been so long. We'll probably never see an N64 classic, but a GameCube classic would be super pog. I just think Nintendo's probably not going to do either. Probably not. I seem to remember that game being like mega challenging. Really? Maybe I did then. I feel like I remember it being a crazy difficult game. And I definitely would have played that game way too young to have beaten. I didn't really care about beating games whenever I was a kid, you know? Like, I never beat Mario 64 until I was in, like, college. Yeah, I was an adult when I played Metroid Dread. I think I could do it now. That's why I'm saying maybe I could play it again and beat it this time. Nobody beat Mario 64 or DK 64. Nobody truly ever beat DK 64 100%. I don't know if any of you guys follow The Completionist, but he talked about Donkey Kong 64 as being a nightmare to complete. Not to finish, but to complete. To get all those crystal coconuts. I feel the same way about Banjo, too. Never beat Banjo for real. I rolled credits on Banjo as a kid, for sure. And I beat Star Fox all the time. That was the thing about Star Fox. Star Fox was like the one game. It was like the one game that I know that I beat as a kid often. I guess Pokemon. That doesn't count. And Hotel Dusk. My visual novels I always beat. No joke, that's something I desperately want. I don't know if it'll ever happen on a stream, but like, I've thought about like how cool would it be. The touch mechanics are what are difficult, but how cool would it be to show you guys all of Hotel Dusk? It's like my favorite game of all time. It's so important to me. Banjo 1 and 2E are simple to get through, but the collectathons, exactly. That's what I meant. That game is so important to me. Hotel Dusk is so like important to who I am as a human being, you know? That building serenely towering over everything is Dragon Spiral Tower. Play it. The issue is the touchscreen stuff. From far in the past, before you know it was founded, it still stands tall today. On the top floor, so it's been told, the legendary Pokemon are waiting for a person seeking the truth to appear. I wish it would get the ghost trick treatment, but it won't. Nintendo's forgotten about it, dude. Nintendo has forgotten that Sing even exists. You can use touchscreen no problem with your emulator? Tell me more. Tell me more. Just use mouse, it works? Well, this is pretty precise. I mean, I think I've got the game. I'm sure I can find it somewhere. But it was quite precision based. And what I recall was exceptionally challenging about it is that there were certain missions that you had to do that required multiple touch points. You had to like either touch so fast. It was like almost like Rhythm Heaven level of like you had to touch so quick. It was like challenging. Man, those games were so good though. All right, Crazy Frog. Swing, swing, bing, ding, bing, 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 ding, bing, 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 ding, ding, bing, bing, bang, bang. Yeah, crazy frog. Ring ding 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 ring ding ding bam 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 ring ding ding bang bang ring ba ba. Okay, I guess this isn't what I'm supposed to do. I guess not. I guess I was wrong. Okay, never mind. Never mind. Guess I gotta go take the gym. I don't even know what just happened. It definitely looked like it was telling me to do that, but clearly not. Let's see, what level are we at now? What level are we at? 37 and 30. I think if I can get Ronan up to level 32, maybe we can be down. Maybe then. Is this like forest? Maybe this forest up here gets me to another side of that lake. Did I mention I rewatched District 9 this weekend? Such a good movie. Did it hold up? I feel like I don't want to watch it again because I don't know. Oh, good. It aged beautifully. That was literally just what I was about to ask. It's a great movie. It's just like a movie. It's like a movie. Now I want to find that Harry Styles clip and pull it through the soundboard because it's clearly, I like it too much. It's too in my head. The movie was just like a movie. CGI is just stupid how great it looks compared to, well, most anything. Have you guys seen the Super Mario toys? I may have gotten a Mario with a Mario Kart for Nora's birthday for her. But I looked at the action figures. I don't know. I don't know about them. I just don't know. Something's just a little off from the new movie, correct? Something just wasn't quite there. I'm hyped about the movie, don't get me wrong. Don't take what I'm saying to mean that I don't think the movie's gonna be great. I think the movie looks great, but I think the toys look a little wrong. Just it's just a little uncanny valley. That's a good way of putting it. About the mustache, about the eyes. When you see the eyes in real life, you'll know of like, something just ain't right. Something just ain't. It looks like they're trying to do a "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared," but they don't know about "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared." Like, they're like what "Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared" was making fun of. Like just the uncanny, creepy, weird. Something about it ain't right. I didn't like it. Freddy Fazbear, yeah. Ugh. Just gave me the heebie-jeebies. That being said, the movie's gonna be great. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be a fine movie. Did everybody else have your feeds filled with Jack Black being the only one that wore a Bowser costume to the Kelly Clarkson show? Because that was all I saw on TikTok for like a solid 24 hours. And I had to cull that stuff. I don't know how in the world it happened, but it was like all they would show me was that one clip of Jack Black in the Bowser costume. And he was the only one that was told to wear a costume. And it was always that. I don't know who Kelly Clarkson paid at TikTok to show that to every nerd, but I didn't see anything but it for a while. It drove me crazy. All I get is still the rural Chinese TikTok. Not me. I actually haven't seen my guy for a while. Was this the Dream Yard? I think that was at the very beginning of the game. Is this another one? Muna's Dream Yard? I remember that being at the very, 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 very beginning. Alrighty, Mulga. I guess Boaz will hopefully help us with you. At the very least, you won't be able to, I mean, it was called like Moon something, so they might be at least, maybe that's, maybe what you're hearing is a, what's it called? Of course I don't have a ground type move. And why would I? Huh? Again, this is 4 a.m. brain. What is the musical thing that recurs throughout music? It's not a trope. That's in my head for some reason. Not a trope. A leitmotif. Thank you. You know exactly what I meant. You were there when I needed you most, please. So tired of my chest hurting. Nah, you got me. You got me 100% of the time, Weesh. The other 50% I'm either not on stream or laughing at your pain. No, that's true. That's true. Hey, is there any chance we could just stop doing 1 HP to every Pokemon? Is there a chance of that happening? Because I'm real tired of every single Pokemon that I fight being left at 1 HP, dude. It's as if everybody has that power of endurance or whatever it's called. I can't remember the ability that I always have. Somebody else has. Geodudes. Geodude was a classic line that had it. So I had an idea that I haven't decided how I'm going to run with it yet. I thought about downloading some of our clips that I don't think are necessarily like, they're good clips, but they aren't maybe like, I can't like play with them and have a ton of fun doing like editing with them, but it's just a good clip. And I thought about putting them and then doing the Subway Surfers or like the soap cutting or kinetic sand or something underneath it and putting it up on TikTok and just seeing what happens. Just going crazy with it and just see what happens. So don't be surprised if that happens sometime soon. I just want to hop on the meta. I want to hop on the meta and see if TikTok pushes me up because of that. It's what all the cool kids are doing. And I have FOMO. I don't want to be left out. Did I just hurt myself in confusion? And look, she's at what? Like 4 HP? Why does this keep happening, dude? I don't think I've taken anybody down in one hit in a long time. Long time. Just an awful long time. I'm just not having it. Sure. 80? Do it now. Oh, man. All right, well, I guess I gotta go back and heal. I don't want a citrus berry. I want all your Pokemons to not stay at 1 HP. That's what I want. Now I gotta fly back. Because you've taken down all of my monsters. All of my Mon are dead. And it's because of you! Got 5 till. I will say that not tomorrow, but the next day is another last day of antibiotic for Quinn and her ear infection that she's had since January. Another 10-day cycle is wrapping up, and hopefully, I'm done with Palpitoad. I don't ever want to see another Palpitoad. If it's a Palpitoad. That's an acceptable one. That's the one I'll accept. What was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. I'm so distracted. Don't even remember. Let's go for the easy one. What I do love about Pokemon is that it takes so long for every battle to go that I can go and take some water. So nice. Who wouldn't love it? Yeah, Ronan. Oh! Please stop. Please stop this. It's torture. Pokemon White is wildin', dude. It's wildin'. How do they throw so many REs? So many. It's like it's all I do. All I do. We've made no headway in this stream. We've just fought. We just fought one Pokemon after another for the past hour. We've experienced like no story. It takes an entire stream to get to the next area. If it gets a remaster, I'll consider trying, but the REs are a heck no for me. They'll have to change something. They'll have to. Or I'm going to have to start using repels. It's crazy. Ah! Just had to get that one out. My neighbors don't like it. I don't know how they all make it to 1 HP. They just all have Endure. Everybody's got Endure. Please don't fight me anymore. No one. Please don't fight me anymore. No one. Please stop fighting me. I don't want to fight. I just want to figure out where to go. Please just let me go to the next place. Can I slip through here? Probably not. Can I slip? Nope. I thought I'd already fought you. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought I'd already fought you. But I didn't. And so here we are. I have not, Harry. It's like a movie. It's just like a movie. I thought this movie was just like a movie, you know? I love it. I love that clip so much. Still haven't seen Don't Worry, Darling, by the way. Still haven't. Want to. Desperately. No time. Until they start letting me skip through them. Maybe I can put it into that chat GPT thing. Can you put movies into that too, or is it just YouTube? No joke, Bleach, this is gonna infuriate you. But one of my favorite things to do is to find out if I want to go watch a movie. I will go to IMDb and see if they have a plot synopsis written out. And depending on the first like paragraph of it, I'll either finish reading the plot synopsis and never watch the movie, or I'll go find a movie. I know, it's awful. It's so awful. I don't respect art, dude. I'm an absolute travesty to the art world. I know. Listen, I'm ashamed. I just did that the other day, too, for a movie that I found on TikTok, which is already a problem. Why did I find a movie on TikTok? Have you ever heard of the movie The Platform? because I never had. And it's a 2019 movie, and the concept sounded interesting enough, but it looked just B-movie enough that I was like, I don't know about that. And so I was like, I'll go read the description, and then I got so into the synopsis that I wound up reading the entire thing and never watched the movie, but now I feel like I've seen it. But the gist of the movie is that it's a social experiment movie where you opt in for like a certain amount of time to spend in like the hole, hashtag the hole or whatever they call it. And whenever you do, you get randomly assorted to a level of this self-confined prison that you share with somebody else. And the idea of what this is that there is a hole in the center of a completely vertical prison. And the people at the top get fed, they get fed at one time a day, and the table just descends down that hole. And the person at the top has to pick whatever food they want. And then the second floor, they get to pick whatever food they want. The third floor, whatever food. Blah, 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 blah. Keeps going down and down and down. So by the time it reaches like the 40th, 50th floor, there's no food left. And so it begins to lead to this weird like cultural war that's happening inside of like the lower levels. Like will kill each other and cannibalize each other. And there's just all this really dark storytelling happening in the midst of this drama. There are people that will like, there's like this one mysterious person who rides the table down and will just stop up on floors trying to look for somebody, and they'll just randomly kill people. But I was so engrossed in the concept of this social experiment that I was like, yeah, I want to know exactly everything that happens in this movie, but I absolutely do not want to watch this B movie. And so I did. I read the entire thing, and it was interesting enough. It was exactly interesting enough to read the synopsis for, and nothing more, nothing less. I regret nothing. But if that sounded interesting to you and you want to give it a shot, then hey, let me know. Let me know if I missed out. I don't think I did. I think I got exactly what I would have gotten out of it from watching it. But if that demented topic vibes with you, let me know. Because it definitely got me curious. I also thought for just long enough that the main guy was the Irish comedian guy who was in Cloverfield Paradox. And he's a funny guy. I can't remember his name though. But I thought it might be him for just a minute. And so I was like, oh neat, I like him. And he's in another drama. I was like, what's that about? And no, not it. Definitely not an American movie or an American cast. Chris O'Dowd, that is, yeah. Nailed it. See, boys, I told you, you're there. You're there, you got it. You're there for me. Oh man, it's 3:04. You're not there for me to tell me to take a break. All right, as soon as we take down this stun fist, we're going to take a 3-minute break. And then we'll be back for our last third of stream. In the meantime, feel free to look up the platform if you want to. Or don't. It really was an interesting enough story. Definitely by the end of the movie, whenever I read the ending, I was like, so glad I didn't watch this, because that would not have sufficed. You won't. It kind of reminded me of The Menu, which I really enjoyed The Menu, so I was like, huh, okay. It's like the polar opposite of The Menu. The Menu is like hoity-toities deserve to die. This was like the lower class will eat themselves. Really couldn't be much more opposite of the narrative. But I guess it wasn't necessarily a class discussion. It was more like a hungry people, starving people will turn on themselves. Okay, with that cheerful thought, enjoy your intermission, and I will see you soon. Let's go ahead and pause this bad boy. And mute. Closed captioning calls you Ricky Time Tree. Ricky Time Tree and swapping up instead of squaffy. Ricky! Is it in the TV? Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah. Is that a turkey? It's Demon. It's Demon. I thought it was a turkey. I definitely thought it was a turkey with arms. Oh, happy Thanksgiving. Okay. I like turkey better than Demon. You don't eat the outside. I'm not talking about the outside of the pineapple. I'm talking about like the edge.
I got one.
Sometimes if you don't cut the pineapple properly, you get a little too close to the edge and it tastes a little bit like a Lego. That's all that I'm suggesting.
A Lego? What kind of pineapples are you eating?
A little bit like a Lego.
What kind of pineapple
What type of Legos are you eating? Why are you tasting Legos in the first
You guys
place?
have never chewed on a Lego. Give me a break.
No.
You've chewed on a Lego.
Okay,
We're nerds, not
defense,
Everyone
In my
has
defense,
chewed on a
I've-
Lego. Everyone on planet Earth has chewed on a Lego once.
I know how that tastes.
Yes, you're working on it. You're working on a project. A piece gets stuck. You can't get it off with your fingers, so you bite it off with your teeth. And then while you're waiting, the Lego's in you're eating you're biting the Lego.
Chewing on it, I'm biting it off.
That's what their Lego removal tool is for.
Yes. No.
What if we don't have one?
I have a built-in.
question.
I have a built-in Lego removal tool, and it's called my teeth. Yeah, chicory. Done. Okay, now let's show them. Oh! Oh, it's just like real life. Oh, it's just like real life. Oh, man, that's hashtag relatable. Every single time I'm on Twitter and I post my art, I post my art and then somebody responds. Oh, that's beautiful.
Secure this. I have a power seed. Someone want to come escort me?
Oh, I killed 2 people. That was fun.
Oh, I killed people.
Wasn't that exciting? Oh, I killed another person. I'm really good at this.
I will say, Nate, you're in second place right now.
Yeah, I just killed 3 people in a row.
Dead.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
The Pink Ranger!
Triple kill.
No!
Nice triple.
Pink Ranger killed me. A burden. Ha! 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 Nice.
Okay.
I'm still trying to convince everybody to watch Tokyo Revengers, and I feel like nobody has watched. Why is Llama in the boat?
Not the screaming.
Why? No! Why is Christina in the boat with the llama? No, please! Everybody's in the boat! Alrighty, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Tokyo Revengers Season 2. Just saying it to say it. Are you checking it out? I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna wait on a dub or not. We'll see. The trouble is that I already know. I've already read it. And so I'm like, I might as well just wait for the dub, which I'll enjoy more. If you guys don't know just how millennial I am, okay? Some of you may remember, I don't know, 6 years ago. Yeah, it's out. It's on Hulu. It's premiering on Hulu weekly. So you may or may not have remembered like 6 years ago where coloring books, like adult coloring books, got super in vogue and everybody was doing them. And then just recently on TikTok, I saw this and I immediately bought it. It's a reverse coloring book. Have you heard of this? This is just how millennial I am, you guys. This is just how basic I am. The gist is that it's just watercolor pages. Somebody made watercolors, put them in a book, and then you take a Sharpie or a whatever, and you find the shapes that you want to create on the page. So some of them are more obvious, like a lotus, yeah. Some of them are this little like mandala-esque thing. And then some of them are just shapes. And you get to pick which shapes get combined and don't get combined, and what you highlight and what you outline and what you focus on. But if this is not the most basic thing you've ever seen, dude, and I'm so in, I'm so on board, I'll do like 3 of them and then I'll never touch it again. And that's just me, man. That's just me. That's just me. Yo, I'm gonna need to stop snowing. I'm gonna need you to send some snow our way, Zando. Because spring's in like 14 days and we ain't seen a cold day this season. I have yet to have a wintry day this winter. Thanks for your lurk, Action Ninja. No, I don't want that weather, but I do want a little bit. I want an inkling of it. I want you to the textbook definition of decimate. I want you to decimate it and send it to me. Lost another tree and 3 more branches. That's awful. We had some crazy wind this weekend. I was real worried we might have lost some trees. We lucked out. We didn't lose too much. Did I miss? I'm gonna need to stop missing. I'm gonna need to stop enduring. Do you get Durachos? I don't even know what that is. I guess not. If we do, then I don't know what it's called. Straight line wins. I have no idea. I'm gonna say no because I've never heard that word before. No! I want to know what Memento does. Memento Mori? An orange tortilla? The user faints when using this move. In return, it harshly lowers the target's... no, I don't want that. My old moves. My old nerdy chiropractor isn't in network anymore, and I have to find another one. Hopefully the new guy's a nerd too. Probably not, though. Oh, that's real sad. It's always sad when you have to lose a nerd. They're the worst. Usually this time of year they hit bad. 90 mile per hour gusts are normal. Cranes were spinning all over the city and crashing into buildings. I'm going to say no. That does sound like some kind of mountain mess, though. Sounds like something would happen on the foothills. But I guess we're... I don't know. Maybe that's like a coastal. Maybe that's the other side of the foothills that have that, you know? The other side of the Appalachian suffers from that, maybe? Is this an RE? Hold on. Get out of here. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. We'll fight. We'll fight. Come on, boo-boo. Let's do it. I also got my movie pass. Officially have my movie pass card. Have I seen a movie with it? No. I've had no time. Zilch, nada. Did you do those new raids in Violet and Scarlet? Man, I'm so far behind. I haven't even logged into Scarlet and Violet. I'm very excited about the fact that Decidueye is coming back because I'm gonna have to hopefully go get my little Circle Owl boy because I never even got Decidueye the first time. I never got Greninja. Oh. I just keep playing Dragon Quest XI, just staring at the screen. Okay, we do actually need to talk, Wish, because I would have appreciated a heads up about the mermaid story in Dragon Quest XI, because that was a gut punch out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, man. That game just all of a sudden was like, oh, what game are we playing? Here's something completely different. I'm like, where did that come from? Totally was like, this is a Dragon Quest game. Why am I bawling? Like, what is happening right now? It was totally threw me for a loop. Whew. Kind of like the spinning that forms from the Mississippi River but doesn't spin as a tornado. I mean, I'm serious. That was like, I almost sent you a Discord message and was like, Weesh. Give me a heads up. That was so brutal. And there have been other like betrayals or like people that have been hurt or like some unexpected harm caused in this game, but that was like uncalled for. Should have. It has its moments, clearly. Well, now it's set me up for like a, okay, like I need to finish this game because clearly it's telling a really good story. And it has its stories along the way that it's going to continue to tie me in with. that just, whew. That story at the point of experiencing it was like, oh, like that should have been the first story they had me do, because that was the best part of the game so far. Like I'm now like 22 hours in, and that was like by far the best part of the game. Have I done the Miko quest yet? No. No, I'm currently in Sniffelheim. Which, by the way, real good name for a town. Hilarious. I think I just finished Sniffelheim. So you're just making up fantasy names, pretty much. DM me when I finish Sniffelheim? I finished Sniffelheim. I mean, that was an okay twist. Unless I'm not done. Maybe I'm not done. I've definitely experienced a twist in that one, and it was like, oh, Miko. Okay, I will. I'll let you know. My current theory, don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, because don't tell me. But I'm pretty sure that we keep running into Hendrik, and Hendrik is definitely like conflicted. And so my theory, where I'm at in the game, is that they're like the king's henchmen, Hendrik, and then the other guy, and I don't remember the other guy's name. I think the other guy is a traitor. I think he might even be the like super bad guy. He might be the real bad guy in disguise. And then Hendrik is being duped. I think Hendrik is going to turncoat whenever he realizes that he's going to join our team. He's going to be our 8th party member. So I'm thinking. I don't know. I don't know yet because I haven't looked it up. But that's my brain theory. So we'll find out. Don't tell me. Don't tell me, because if I'm wrong, I want to be wrong, and I want to experience that wrongness. I want Hendrik to like sacrifice himself right in front of me, and I'd be like, no! He was supposed to be my 8th party member! But we'll see. We shall see. Hey, Shelmet, can we stop dancing, buddy? Can we please stop dancing? Can we stop doing this? Protect is really not supposed to work this often. Protect is supposed to have a pretty low success rate, especially when used in succession. So I'm really going to need you to stop having success. Thank you. Sure better be a one-hit KO. Hold up. Are we back at the beginning? Yeah. Give me a break. Okay, I guess none of this was necessary, and I'm just going to go take back on the gym leader. Are you for real, dude? I thought it wanted me to go do that mission first. Thought it wanted me to go to the spiral thing, but I guess not. That's what I get for not reading. Well, we should be able to take down the guy on that. We shall see. Just watch that TMN trailer a few more times. I'm loving the voices and animation. The voices are great. The animation is next level. Animation is next level. I'm so here for it. I really hope they're able to match the energy with a good story. Nothing we can do. Want to go get pizza? Exactly. Hashtag mood, as the Gen Z would say. Really want to play Like a Dragon Ishin. Hope to burn through Wolong this next week. You got it. You got it. I did not realize just how big the Like a Dragon series was with the ladies. It's like a big deal. It's very much like a husbando game. What's up with this one? The ladies. Are you judging me for saying the ladies? I'm very respectful and chivalrous. What am I doing? Hey, yo. Okay. Yeah, I was just totally going the wrong direction in general. All right, that's fine. Man, this cough, you guys. I'm so tired of it. You should have seen Yakuza Zero's release. Wasn't there something that was like the director of the game or writer of the game, something where like they had no idea how much people love? Is it Majima that they were like no idea how much people loved him and like they don't see it? They were like, I don't understand why you think this guy is so fine. Oh, I didn't switch out PokeMondays. Oh no. Yeah, I've heard about that. I've played like 2 hours. Because the whole series he's been a weirdo who bothers you in games to randomly fight and bicker. But then you can play as him and holy, he is so charming. I see. Well, that's what it is then. Who doesn't love a charming gentleman? So as I understand it, Ishin is not the same characters, but it is the same character, right? It's like ancestors. It's kind of like Arceus, in a sense that it was like, you can definitely tell who everybody's supposed to be, but it's not them. That's my thought. And then this is also the game where there's like characters that are based off of real historical characters in that, like, whatever, Edo era, or whatever. One of these days, I'm just going to burn through the whole franchise. It's just going to happen. We're going to do like a Dragon Days. We'll just burn through the games every Monday. I don't know. I feel like those games are so long, they're just going to have to be in my own time. I feel like they'd be great Steam Deck games. They don't feel super demanding. I didn't change him out again. Man. Where's your brain at? My brain is still at 4 a.m. is where my brain is. My brain remains at 4 a.m. Miriam? Muriel? p.m. It is 3:25 p.m. And it was 4 a.m. whenever I was woken up. No, whenever I finally got to go to sleep. That was spot on, thank you. Next poetry, gonna have a courage. I love courage. What a great voice. The things I do for love. He's great. Such a good character. With his little like tiny clover feet. Cloverfeet. Cloverfeet is my favorite monster movie. Second time that Cloverfield has come up on this podcast, on this stream. That's fun. Wow, they really went next level with this ice gym, huh? I will say, I think the gyms have been fun. Very inspired. Done a good job. I still forgot to change out the Poke! You guys, why? Why can't I remember to change them out? Chuck, dude. You get no respect, Chuck. Courage would be hard to do a whole poem with, though, because he really never says more than like a sentence at a time. Except for his stammering. Let's see. I do think I forgot to say quick announcement. First off, new blog dropped today from our own Kung Fu Carl on The Last of Us. Check that one out. Another one probably will drop on Wednesday. At the very latest, it'll drop on Friday. What else is there? No lunch this Wednesday. Well, no lunch together this Wednesday. Instead, it'll be Friday. If you've been joining in with our lunch crew, just know that will not be happening on our usual time. Since I have Rion, which is a good and wonderful thing. What do you suppose I do here? Aha. I forgot to change him out. No! I can't remember. I can't remember, Makiko. Please. All right, so it's definitely going to be Beartic, or Beartic, is going to be our gym leader's main mon, huh? Because every single one of these baddies has used Cubchoo. Every single one. You think, is there a connotation to saying baddies? I mean bad guys. But I understand now that baddie does mean something a little bit different. And I wonder if that's a concern of mine, if that should be something I pay more attention to. No speak? Well, and every now and again I do bust into that song. Johnny, a little baddie. Oh yeah, she's a boo thing. And then I stop. And I don't sing the rest. Ever. No, I cannot. That's all that you get. That's all you get. That's all you get of that song. You can clip it. It's fine. It exists forever in the pod. What's up, Asia? How we doing? Welcome. And Asia, I'm reading tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. I'm on chapter 5, I think. I'm just starting. But I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. It's definitely more emotional than I was expecting, because whenever I heard it was about like video game designers, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like it's gonna be a really interesting, like almost like a biopic. I was expecting kind of like a behind the scenes, but I was like, whoa, okay, all right, we're getting right into it. Okay, let's talk about it. And so I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I like the writing. And the audiobook is okay. It's not the best audiobook I've ever heard, but it's an okay audiobook. So if anybody tells you they're thinking about the audiobook, tell them maybe. Not the best audiobook ever, but not a bad one by any means. I will keep you updated. I'm trying to remember. Maybe I'm a little further than 4 chapters. 16% complete. Ah, so I'm on chapter 1 of part 2. Whatever that means for you. Just finished part 1 of Sick Kids. You've never listened to an audiobook? Oh, I love audiobooks. I love audiobooks. The best part about an audiobook is that you can speed them up. That's very nice. But it's good. It's good. I love me some audiobooks too. For long drives are the bomb. Agreed. A lot of podcasts, a lot of audiobooks. You're driving a lot right now, Boish? Closest I've gotten was Radio Theater for the Chronicles of Narnia, which is epic. I think that's definitely an audiobook. I would consider Radio Theater an audiobook. 208K! That's awesome. I love a car with a lot of miles. I'm a fan. Takes care of me. That's what they do. Nice, dude. Okay. Straight up. Now tell me. Yep. Nice. This is gonna be the gym leader. I do not have the health for it. I forgot to change out the guy again! Why? Why can't I remember? Losing my marbles. But yes. I don't know if you're on an ad right now or not, Asia. You might be. It's funny because I used to travel so much for work. COVID happened, I never drove, literally only put 5,000 miles on it in 2020, 2021. Now I've put 29K in 2022. That's amazing. I personally really like driving, and so I would be like, this is just fine. I'm a fan. As long as it's nice long stretches. What I don't like is city driving. But country driving, long drives, road trip drives, love them. Here for them. Ooh, I'm very low on health. Oops. It's the bomb out west. Work tells me to fly here and there, and I say just reimburse the gas. Thanks. Yep. It's a beautiful thing. Should I heal? Yep. Have you? You got this, Chuck. You got it, Chuck. You got it. All right, Asia should be back now if you were on ad. Pretty much anytime. By the way, Moviga, we love Moviga, and anytime Asia makes a recommendation on Moviga, we're on the same wavelength, so I always know to take it very seriously. If Asia likes a game or likes a book or likes a show, I'm like, we like the same stuff. At this point, my headcanon is Bleach is a spy. Look, no one can confirm or deny. If you told you, I'd have to kill you. What an honor to be on the same wavelength. Yep. That's weird. It just stopped autoing up here. Now I gotta look over here. I'm sad we didn't really get to hang out at LTN Con. Yes, I know. Well, LTN Con, I was only there for 2 days, and so it was super short. That's okay. More LTN stuff ahead. There we go. Now it's populating for whatever reason. By the way, I know that you mentioned that you were watching, or you had watched Pachinko, and you should read the book. You should read the book. I haven't seen the show, but the book blew my mind. It was my favorite book of 2020. It was really good. I don't know if the show goes to all the same places or not, because I've never seen it again, but oh boy, man was that just an exceptional book. Never seen the show either. I wanted to. I remember whenever I heard that it came out. Now I'm really wanting to see, what's it called? It's the chemistry show. It's coming out on Apple TV with Brie Larson. Lessons in Chemistry. I just read the book, Lessons in Chemistry. Real good. Breaking Bad. You know Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad as a middle-aged Bryan Cranston. She plays a killer Bryan Cranston, by the way. Absolutely looks the part. I mean, you would have never known it was actually Brie Larson the entire time. Pachinko and Little America are both fantastic shows on Apple TV. Oh, Lessons in Chemistry is on your reading list? Real good. It was a good one. Why did I not watch it? Because on Apple TV? I have it now, okay? I have it now. I'm gonna catch up. I'm gonna catch up on all the shows. It's gonna happen. How was Ted Lasso? Haven't started it. Haven't started it. I'm gonna catch up, you guys. I'm gonna catch up. Haven't started. Haven't even opened it, dude. Put it on the list. Put it on the wish list. Which it turns out Apple does have, but they make it very irritating to find. I know. I know. Sub will run out and I won't watch. I'll be like, I just couldn't keep convincing myself to pay for it every month, you know? That is good timing. It was good timing. It was a perfect time to ask, too. We teamed up on that one. Give 3 months free with Target Circle. Heard it's heavy, but I am considering pre-ordering in Limbo. I don't know that one. Is it a book? I like books. Ooh. A graphic memoir. Korean American girl's coming of age story. Coming home story. Yeah, I'm home, bro. I love a graphic novel. We did a thing at Checkpoint for a little while where we did like a graphic novel of the month that we would read together, and it was like our book club. And I missed that. I missed that a lot. It was just time. It's hard to make something. Want to see the Tetris movie? Yep. I'm gonna watch it. I'll watch it. There's just so many good books. What do you do when there's so many books? So many good books to read. And I can't help myself, but I'm going to get the audiobook for every single Sword Art Online. I can't help myself. You can't stop me. Oh, nope. Maybe I should just go heal first. Actually, look pretty good. Am I in a bad spot? Did I break the game? How do I get there? Hey, yo. Hey, yo, how do I get there, though? Hey, yo! How do I get there, though? Am I a dummy? Why can't I figure this puzzle out? I can't for the life of me. Okay. Got it. Got it. All right, we're gonna save state just in case. Save state. Ka-chow. Always better safe than sorry. Oh, and that is why we do it. Oh. Oh. You appear ready to face a gym leader, then bring it. That's their voice. I don't care what they look like. Yeah, Bryson. That's absolutely what you sound like, Arnie. It is me, I'm Bryson. Hello, welcome to my gym. Here's my ice cream cone. Ah! You will take on my ice cream cone. My ice cream cone will destroy you. You cannot hold the candle to my ice cream cone. Are you afraid? Are you trembling? You should tremble in the face of my ice cream cone. Goodbye, Vanillish. Who's next? Beardick? Not too bad. Chuck the goat. Chuck the goat. I have only ever seen Beartick rendered in 3D. I have never seen its 2D art. That's super interesting. I kind of like it more 2D. Not gonna lie. You're strong. No, both you and your Pokemon are strong. You're a strong Pokemon. I'm very impressed by your Pokemon. They are so strong. No, not a Hyper Potion. Yeah, the Snow Point City Gym took me way too long as a kid. I normally don't have too much trouble. But this one, that was tricky. That was a tricky little spot. I was in a tight spot. I was not happy where I was. Figured it out. Took some time. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up without a cough. It's just going to happen. That is just the reality. You guys are going to be dumbfounded because, I mean, it's going to be gone. No more cough. It's going to be a miracle. Miracle. Please hit Chuck. Please, please, please do it. No! Why, Chuck? Why? No! Chuck! Ronan, let's see if we can just one-hit him. Do you have a fire type move? Good. Flame burst sounds good. Oh no. No! Why? Why do they all endure? They're all so strong! Everyone endures! Bye, Boaz. I don't understand why they all just have this miraculous ability to just endure forever. His love endures forever. From the rising to the setting sun. And by the grace of God, we will carry on. Our lives are down here. Sing praise. Sing praise. Sing praise. Sing praise. Can you tell that I was a worship leader? And can you tell that most of my formation came from the knights? You do like this. Bye, Boaz. Oh, wow. Good for you, Boaz. Uh-oh. Who did I just heal? All right, Beer Tick. Enough of this. Enough of this, buddy. Just go down. This should be the end of it. Don't confuse him again. Just go down without a fight. This doesn't have to be ugly. Okay? That's not enough damage. Don't confuse him! I said don't do it! I don't remember which berry does it. Don't judge me. I've already done it. Ooh, I got one. I got one. One chance. Have you guys seen the Robin Williams impersonator on TikTok? Because you should look him up. He's so good. It sounds just like Robin. And he did an impression recently where he had Robin reading off Professor Oak's monologue. Because apparently Professor Oak was like, if there was ever going to be a Pokemon movie, he was like the first pick or something by somebody who said that somewhere on some IMDb account at some point. And so he did a whole monologue, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Good job, Robin. You know what? Let's try. Let's see if Ronan can take the heat. Huh? Let's see if Ronan can take the heat. Come on, Ronan. Let's see if you can take the heat, buddy. See if you can do it. Can you do it? I believe in you. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Ronan, you got this. Extreme conditions really test you and train you. That's what I do. Goodbye. No? Not very effective? Yeah, Ronan! Killing it, bro. Get that burn. Let's hope he doesn't have any full restores. We can take another hit. As long as he doesn't do anything other than a roar beam. Yeah! Oh, we love to see it. Yes, bad gym leaders, bad gym leaders. Let's heal. I don't know if we can take a whole other hit. And Ronan is just the little flame that could. Love to see it. Why would I need to watch Ted Lasso? I got it right in front of me. Whoopsie. You didn't like that comment, Weish? You don't like that? You don't like that comment? You don't care for it? Look, you slap a mustache on my trainer, tell me the difference. You can't. There's not one. Oh, man. Oh, what did he say? I didn't read it in the Arnold voice. In honor of your stout heart, I will give you this. It's a badge. You'll be cheesing over it and writing so many sermons when you watch it. No, I'm actually at the point that I think I might refuse to write a sermon on it. Because I just can't, because everyone else does, and I gotta be different. I'm different. I'm edgy, Bleesh. I'm not like those other pastors. Don't send that one to the bishop. Don't write that one to the bishop. Don't clip that one out. Oh, man. No matter how many battles I fight, I don't know what strength is. Perhaps you can find the answer. We doubt it, buddy. Oh, wait. We can go down the fun slide. Whee! Nice. No, I'm sure I will. I'm worried it's overhyped. I'm very scared to watch it. At this point, I'm scared because I hope it lives up to the hype. I really hope it lives up to the hype because it is so built up. It's so built up because everybody talks about it that I'm terrified.
Check. I've been talking with Bianca, and I'm wondering, since we left Nuvema Town, has something about me changed?
Yes, you need to see a counselor, Sharon.
Something about what I want to do, thinking about what I should do. It felt like there was nothing. Have I really become stronger? Or is it just my Pokemon that have? I don't know anymore. Hey, cheer up, Sharon. Isn't it nice to see my dad? I mean, everyone. Check, know what? This time, I'll go to the Pokemon fan club.
What is it? Then you have no one to blame but yourself for waiting so long. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. And that's why I'm so scared. I'm so scared. It lives beyond the hype and I loathe hype. See, that terrifies me. That terrifies me, Weesh. Because that's the mentality. I've been telling you for 1 year, 4 months, 18 days, and 2 hours, and you've said no. Not necessarily no. I've said I don't want Apple TV. Who are you?
Who, us? I'm Bianca, and this is Sharon.
I know you were there. Why don't you show yourselves? Oh, snap!
Impressive, Gym Leader of Icarus City. We, the Shadow Dryad, are beings of the shadows, and not easily noticed. Our mission was to speak only with Check, but so be it. Getsis has a message for you. Come to Dragon Spiral Tower. It is there that our Lord Inn awaits you. Now our mission is complete.
Dragon Spiral Tower, what's going on? Hey, tell me. Now, hang on, young man. If you're here for a gym challenge, hang on for a bit. I've got to head to Dragon Spiral Tower.
I'm going too. Dragon Spiral Tower is to the north of you, right?
I don't want Apple TV is just a fancy way of saying no. I guess so. If you want to phrase it that way, then I've been saying no for a long time.
Whoa! Whoa! What should I do? For now, I have to go to Dragon Spiral Tower. Okay, I'm heading north.
Girl voice is actually somewhat easier to do with a hoarse throat. Man. I do have to say that there is like an element of it that is petty. There is an element of it that is petty. I will be honest with you guys. The opposite of a spite watch is a not watching in spite. It's so hyped. It's so hyped that I'm so scared. But I'm gonna watch it.
Hey, Jack.
Oh, Check, and you must be Bianca. I'm the other Professor Juniper. The Professor Juniper who gave you the Pokedex is my daughter. Isn't she British in my games?
Oh, no. Nice to meet you, Professor. Thanks to Professor Juniper, I got to go on a journey and start figuring out possibilities in my life. I'm very, very grateful to her.
Is that right? Grand. Actually, we should chat later. Check, Bianca, here's the situation. Some members of Team Plasma, quite a large group, broke through the tower wall and went inside. Bryson and that young man, I believe his name is Sharon. The two of them went out to Team Plasma, but...
Professor, what's a Dragon Spiral Tower?
I guess you would be curious. Well, I'll explain briefly. Dragon Spiral Tower has stood tall since long before Unova was founded. On the top floor, the legendary Dragon-type Pokemon waits for a person seeking truth to appear. That's what it said. Are you going to go after Team Plasma like your friend did? It's admirable of you to join the fight against Team Plasma, but it's risky, too.
Check and Sharon are both really, really strong, and they've beaten Team Plasma before. But I'm not all that strong, actually. I admit it. I'm not very strong, so... I was thinking it would be nice if maybe I could stay here and be your bodyguard.
Well, thank you. That makes me feel much safer. I can't really hear your southern gentleman without thinking of Beacon Pines. Yeah, this Cedric is secretly a bad guy. Well, Jack, it's up to you. Climb the tower. What's up, King Bao? Hi. Welcome in. We're playing some Pokemon White. Just wrapping up stream here in the next couple minutes, but we're glad you're here. Welcome in. The old Gateau. Still, what would Team Plasma be after? I don't know. We're going to find out. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. We'll make it inside, but if another cutscene starts, Pokemon White brings back good nostalgia. So, long story short, I played all the Pokemons from OG growing up until Diamond Pearl. I took a break and then picked it back up in college with Sun and Moon, and I've played everything since. But I never played Black, White, Black 2, White 2, X and Y. So now I'm going back and playing them for the first time. So this is my first time ever playing this game, and I'm enjoying it a whole lot. But it is totally new to me. So I have never played this story, and yeah, no spoilers, I guess. But I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. I especially enjoy that all of the Pokemon are unique to the game. I forgot he was Ghost type. I thought he was Rock type. But it's been a lot of fun. The random encounters, the random encounters in this game are a bit much. Ghost ground. Yep. I'm gonna go water type. Should be okay. I don't think I have a dark type. I could be wrong, but I think so. I feel from X and Y the storyline gets much easier. Yeah, this is a heavy game. I've always heard that about Black and White. I own all of them. I've just never gone back and played them. So I don't know how we will stream X and Y, but we'll figure it out. I don't know if Citra's gotten any better. We can try it. Oh, is this going to be a lot of Golets? Maybe I need to get a... Maybe I just need to get Crazy Frog up to the front of the line. Dos minutes. Dos minutos. But yeah, this is what we do every Monday. We play Pokemon of some sort on Mondays. And we've been playing through Pokemon White for the past little while. We were doing it in anticipation for Scarlet Violet. And we played some Scarlet Violet streams, and now we've gotten back here. Tepig was our starter, but wound up switching out to whatever Chandelore's. I can't remember its name because I changed its name. Litwick. We changed to Litwick. I think we'll have to call it. I got 1 minute left on the clock, and I need to find somebody to raid. So we will save up real quick before I forget. And then we'll pause it. But I'm glad that you've hopped on here. Like I said, feel free. Oh, yeah. Is Netherlad live right now? For sure, we should do that. Well, we should go raid. We should go raid Netherlad. Absolutely, great call. Hey, thanks for the follow. Like I said, we do this every Monday at 1 o'clock, 1 p.m. Eastern time. We'll play through this Pokemon, and then we'll bust into Black and White 2, and then we'll do X and Y. We'll just go through them. As new games come out, we'll kind of interweave them. But I'm liking playing through these stories and getting to play through some of the games that I never got to do. So we're glad that you're here. Welcome in. And hopefully we'll see you in the future. To keep it with our schedule, folks, we do have a Discord. That's our most active place. We're always active, ! Discord to join that. And then if you want more of what we're doing as far as our ministry side, because we are really a church, then you can always check that stuff out over on our YouTube channel, ! YouTube, where our nerdy sermons go. So let me see if I can get Netherlad pulled up. Oh no! Man, that was a short stream, huh? Bummer, dude. Let's see who's live then. Let's go see who's live. Is music playing? It just feels crazy quiet. I did see that their streams are like an hour or two. Let's see. I'm trying to remember who we rated last week. Would you guys rather watch Minecraft or Guild Wars? Minecraft or Guild Wars? What are you feeling? Minecraft? All right. Minecraft it is. So we're gonna raid Chow Fan H. Chow Fan H. Let me hang on. Whoa. Let's close out of that. Raid channel Chow Fan. Folks, we are Checkpoint Church. We're really a church. I'm Nerd Pastor Nate, really a pastor of this community. And we believe 3 things to be true about every single one of you out there. Number 1, believe that God loves you, like really, really loves you. Whether you believe in God, don't believe in God, go to church, don't go to church, we still believe God loves you. We love you. We want community with you. That's what we're doing here. Number 3, believe that you, yes, you matter. You're a person of sacred worth. The world is a better place. Why? Because you are in it. Folks, with that, we will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern playing our Variety Tuesday game. If you want to vote on what we will play tomorrow, then I will post that at 8:30 a.m.-ish tomorrow morning. It'll be, you can vote between a new game, continuing a game, or playing a bonus stream. So, or making a suggestion of your own. So that'll happen tomorrow morning. And then Wednesday, nothing. Thursday, another morning stream. And we'll be playing a new game that day as well, I'm sure. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and raid out. So if you do me a favor, if you would do me a favor, I made a mistake last week and I accidentally clicked start raid and it just moved over. Do me a favor, drop some You Matters in the chat. Whenever you followed this channel, you would have gotten a You Matter emote for free. So if you will spam You Matters in the chat for our friend here and let them know that they do indeed matter and their community does indeed matter, and enjoy some Minecraft. Until next time, folks, bye-bye.